Let's take a look now at how to do inference for two proportions. So if I've taken a sample of two different groups, how do I perform inference on those two different groups at the same time? So how do I make comparisons? So the first thing we need to look at is some information about the sampling distribution. So we have four different things here. The first thing is p hat 1. This is the sample proportion of the first group. And it is found by taking the number of individuals with the trait in group 1 and dividing that by the sample size of just group 1. Then we have p hat 2. This is the sample proportion of group 2. And it is found by looking at the number of individuals with the trait in group 2 divided by the sample size of just group 2. And then we have p hat. This is an overall p hat. So this is the combined or pooled sample proportion. And it is the total number with the trait from both groups divided by the total sample size. So notice how it's x1 plus x2, looking at both groups, individuals with the trait, and then n1 plus n2, the total sample size. And then the standard deviation, we're looking at the standard deviation of the difference between group 1 and group 2. And that standard deviation, this is one way to write it. There are other ways to write it. But that standard deviation is the square root of the combined sample proportion times 1 minus that combined sample proportion times 1 over group 1 sample size plus 1 over group 2's sample size. And there are other ways that this can be written. This is the way that looks the cleanest. And so it's the easiest one to read and perform the calculations with. So this is some of the background information that we're going to need to do this inference.